turn to the continent's development and make Africa their home. The president was speaking at the signing of a historic partnership agreement between the Du Bois Museum Foundation Ghana, an affiliate of the W.E.B. Du Bois Foundation New York, and the government of Ghana. The government was represented by the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture.
The partnership, which was initiated by the president in 2019 as part of his trip to promote the Year of Return, will ensure the transformation of the current Du Bois Memorial Center and burial site in Accra into a state-of-the-art museum complex and world-class destination for scholars and heritage tourists. The partnership will lead to the construction of a multi-million-dollar museum complex to preserve Dr. Du Bois' legacy over a 50-year period. The Du Bois Museum Complex aims to transform the center and create a living museum that revive the transformative spirit and vision of Dr. Du Bois for a unified ancestral home for Africans in the diaspora around the world. Upon completion, the complex will serve as a historic memorial site where visitors can honor his life and legacy, connect to their cultural and ancestral roots. At the signing ceremony in New York, President Akufo-Addo highlighted the significance of the agreement in strengthening historical, cultural, and economic ties between Ghana and the U.S. and Africans in the diaspora.
60 years ago, W.E.B. Du Bois became, as it were, a citizen of our country at the invitation of our first president, Kwame Nkrumah. And as a result of his stay in Ghana, a complex has been developed in his memory, which has become a site for pilgrimage for people interested in the development of the African peoples across the world. Already he is part of our history, and if there's opportunity now also to expand his presence in our lives, I had very little difficulty in accepting the idea.
The Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Dr. Ibrahim Mohammed Awar, signed on behalf of the government and paid tribute to the inspirational leadership of the president in positioning Ghana as a hub of the African diaspora. Dr. Du Bois, a civil rights pioneer and one of the world's leading black intellectuals and thinkers, became a citizen of Ghana and resided in the country until his death in 1963.
President Akufo-Addo will address the UN General Assembly today at the annual gathering of world leaders in New York City. This will be the 5th time he will be addressing the UN General Assembly as president. Today's address will be the first in his second term as president. The president is expected to touch on 2 vexed issues confronting the world, including the fight to end the COVID-19 pandemic and redefining the post-pandemic economy. He is expected to make a strong case for support for nations such as Ghana that have shown promising indication of manufacturing or replicating some of the vaccines, and also putting themselves in good stead to deal with future outbreaks of viruses. President Akufo-Addo is also expected to impress on his colleague world leaders to speed up activities to reverse the trend of the disease. The president will in the same vein make a case for support in the fight to eradicate piracy in the Gulf of Guinea, which remains the world's piracy hotspot in 2021 according to International Maritime Bureau's latest figures. The address is at 16 hours GMT. The police have arrested 12 persons for allegedly destroying some private properties and assaulting some persons at Treponi in the northeast region 2 days ago. Their violent act is believed to have been triggered by the announcement of a new district chief executive for the area. The suspects are Kwabna Mantin, Idrisu Abdul Rahman, Sumaila Ibrahim, Kasim Abdul Aziz, Kasim Latif, Ibrahim Aufo. The others are Osman Yusuf, Mohammed Abdul Latif, Fusaini Bawa, Kwame Mahmoud, Bashiru Ayabli, and Arimeyao. A statement signed by the Director General of the Public Affairs, ACP Kwesi Ofori, commended the Northeast Regional Police Commander DCOP Moses Ali Kwechen and his officers for their commitment and professionalism in the operation. Some residents of Nimafon and Sujun in Tamale are alleged that they have been assaulted by police personnel over alleged power theft. In videos that have since gone viral on social media platforms in the northern regional capital, a police officer is seen whipping a man, while in another video a man is handcuffed and pleading for mercy on the ground, surrounded by armed police officers. The incident is said to have happened on Monday when GBC News' correspondent Mutala Isa visited the community on Tuesday. Residents said it occurred after the arrest of some members of the community for allegedly engaging in illegal connection of power. Some eyewitnesses explained that the police were brought there by staff of the Volta River Authority VRA.
Meanwhile, a civil society platform on good governance has condemned the alleged assault by police personnel in Tamale, saying such acts have no place under the current democratic dispensation. A spokesperson for the group, Gambia Laika Philip, in an interview with the media in Tamale, called for an investigation into the matter to bring perpetrators to justice.
If you are having a quarrel with some people, you know the house. So when you are carrying a security to the house, you just carry the security to that house that maybe you have quarrel with, but you don't have to stop on the way and then beating people around. Because if I was having something with me which could have even do worse than what they were holding, I could have done something even if I die on it, but I'm right.
The public relations officer for the Volta River Authority VRA, Al-Hassan Ababa, told GBC News that the organization is investigating the matter and will soon make public their findings. In 2020, residents of Chanli in Tamale suffered brutalities from police personnel in the metropolis, leading to some residents being hospitalized.
Our Northern Regional correspondent Mutala Isa is on the line to update us on the disturbances at Tripoli and police assault in Tamale, which has led to the interdiction of 4 police officers. Hello, good afternoon, Mutala.
Hello, good afternoon.
Mutala, now we have 2 issues that we have to update the public on. First, let's talk about the disturbances at Tripoli. We were told that 12 persons were arrested yesterday in connection to last Saturday's disturbances at Tripoli. Can you confirm if these people are from the NPP?
Their political affiliation is unknown as we speak, but what I can confirm is that indeed some persons have been arrested in Tanzania in connection with the destruction of property, but we cannot tell which political parties they belong to.
So we are told that they mentioned that the president nominee for the position of DCE, Madame Zeratu Nashiru, is a member of the NDC. They are alleging that she's an NDC member. Is that true?
It is also quite difficult for us to be able to establish the political affiliation of the nominee, but I want to believe that within the party, they know their members, they know their membership, and those who bear their cards. And so I am quite surprised myself when I was quite surprised when I heard that they allege that that person does not belong to the NDC. I want to believe that the president and those who nominated Hajia know her better than any other person, and so the people ideally should have given the president the benefit of the doubt.
So have these 12 people been granted bail?
For now, we are not aware that they have been granted bail. The police say they are still investigating the matter, and we are not aware that they have granted them bail.
Once you've spoken to the police, can you tell us how far have they gone with investigations?
So it is part of the investigations that has led to the arrest of the people. They are trying to establish whether or not these 12 persons, all of them were involved. They are also using some video footages that went viral in the northeast region and parts of the northern region during the disturbances, and this will help them to establish and prosecute the perpetrator of this act.
So now let's go to the issue of the residents who were assaulted by some policemen over alleged power thefts. How is the community reacting to the news that the 4 officers involved have been interdicted?
They welcome the development. They express happiness about the swift response from the police hierarchy, and are urging the IGP and his men to ensure that there is nothing. Some residents across the metropolis, not just from the communities that were affected, have also taken to social media to welcome the development. But they are insisting that until they see that justice is done, that these individuals are brought to justice, they will hold this statement from the police with some doubt. And they want to see real justice. I must indicate that the Northern Regional Police Commander, COP Yosabonga, was also in the community today to sort of talk to the people and assure them of their security, and as part of measures to also improve police public relations with the general public.
So do you have any information about the victims? How are they faring? Has the police visited them, and has any compensation been paid to them yet?
So we met with some of them yesterday, and when the regional commander visited today, he also met with some of the victims who were beaten up, and he spoke to them and assured them of investigation to bring the perpetrators to book. He indicated that the police service, just like every human institution, had some misguidance, but they are determined to root the evidence of these misguidance and assure them that investigations are ongoing and whoever is found culpable will be dealt with. I must also indicate that some chiefs in the northern region have spoken to the media indicating that they will ensure that the individuals who have been indicted are properly investigated and dealt with in accordance with the rule of law. I know, for example, the chief of Lamashegu and the Forum have all taken this up. The vice president of the Nabon Forum, Muhammad bin Sal, a while ago told the media that they are unhappy with police public relations in the northern region. He cited the case of the Changley incident last year, where some police officers reacting to the beating up of a police woman in Changley went there and beat everybody inside. And it's calling on the police service to ensure that such incidents do not occur again in the region. We have also been speaking with security analysts in the region, and they are concerned that these incidents could endanger the security of the northern region and the increase. They said the tensions have gone down considerably in the northern region, but if these sort of brutalities continue, then there will be distrust between the public and the police, and that does not augur well with security.
All right. Thank you very much, Mutala, our Northern Regional Correspondent. Mutala is with that update. The Ghana Police Service has rendered an apology to residents of Nimafon and Zujun in the northern region for an alleged assault on them by 4 police officers. The police administration has with immediate effect interdicted the 4 police officers working with the Tamale Regional Police Command. The 4 officers were assigned to assist NEDCO VRA officials to arrest some alleged persons involved in illegal power connections. A release signed by the Acting Director General of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ACP Kwesi Fori, says the officers will face a service inquiry subject to the regulations of the Ghana Police Service. Processes have also commenced to identify the victims for the necessary medical assessment and assistance. We now have the Director of Public Affairs Directorate of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Alexander Obin, on the line. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you very much for joining us. Well, we're trying to establish contact with the Director of Public Affairs Directorate of the Ghana Police Service to give us an update on the 4 police personnel who have been interdicted. Now, moving on, the Public Accounts Committee is to make a case for audit clearance of government workers prior to promotions, transfers and retirement. The committee believes the move will help address issues of embezzlement and financial misappropriations for which the state may not be able to hold workers accountable after their active service. The vice chairman of the committee, Mr. Samuel Atamils, made these remarks during the committee's sitting at Ho, the Volta regional capital. Of the Public Accounts Committee sittings at Ho. Let's go to the Western region, and there is a twist to the matter of the 28-year-old pregnant woman who went missing in Takrady and was found in Axim on Tuesday. According to reports, the Western Regional Minister, Mr. Kwabnotri Dakumensa, says a preliminary observation by a medical doctor on Madame Josephine Payne Mensah shows that she was not pregnant. Subsequently, the regional minister has asked the police to investigate the woman, her husband and mother. Our Western Regional correspondent Desmond Kujo is on the phone to tell us more. Good afternoon, Desmond. Hello, good afternoon, Desmond.
Yeah, good afternoon, I can hear you.
Well, Desmond, this is rather a strange turn of events. Are you able to tell us how things got to this point?
Well, as you are saying, strange turn of events, I would say it is bizarre because right now we don't know where to turn to. We're trying to reach out to the hospital to get at least some confirmation. The hospital authorities are tight-lipped about the whole issue. Where she claimed to be attending antenatal care at the Takrady hospital. They got to the police. The administrator, Reverend White, indicated that yes, they have records of her as a client. But the nature of the services she came there for, she was unable to tell us because doctor-patient hospital confidentiality, so they will not tell us. But according to him, they've spoken to the police CID who are investigating the issue. But the regional minister earlier on has also indicated that the medical director at the Axim Government Hospital, Dr. Jerry Abobra, through indication by the National Bureau of Investigation, indicated that the pregnancy was, to quote the regional minister, fake. So rather, we don't know where the truth lies. The family members are also berating the regional minister and the medical director at the Axim Hospital, saying that they are disgracing the woman. They insist, yes, that the woman was indeed pregnant, and therefore she caused the pregnancy or something. So we are waiting for the police who are, we understand, are working on the statement to tell us the true state of affairs as of now.
Well, so there's a twist in the event. So why would somebody fake a pregnancy? What will push somebody to fake a pregnancy, as the Western Regional Minister is saying?
Yeah, that is what we are yet to find out, because as we speak now, there are a lot of pictures coming out from the family members when the woman was pregnant and attending services, when she was attending the ANC, and now the pictures are emerging of the protein stomach, indicating that she was pregnant. But as to how the doctors are saying that she was not, according to the regional minister, it's yet what we are yet to find out.
Okay, so now you are saying that the police is still, carrying out investigation. So do the authorities believe what the family involved in this bizarre story is saying?
According to Reverend White of the Takrady Hospital, the police have been to the police, they've spoken to the police, but they were able to divulge information about the kind of services the woman was receiving from the hospital. So rather, we don't know who is telling the truth. The husband and the family members and friends also insist that the lady was indeed pregnant. But as the lady was seen yesterday, and as of now, we've not seen the lady to confirm if the pregnancy is there, but we're hearing information that the pregnancy is not there. So until we're able to see the lady and the doctors come with the report, we cannot tell what is happening.
The issue is in the hands of the police now. So do you know when they are supposed to come up with their findings?
I cannot tell the time, but We've tried to reach out to the regional police at PRO, DSP, Lidadiku. According to the information we have, they are still meeting, looking at the various reports we have. So we should bid our time and wait for the police to come up with a report, then we'll know where to stand.
All right, thank you very much, Desmond. Desmond Kujo is our Western regional correspondent. And 2 persons are in the grips of the police for their alleged involvement in the leakage of some questions in the ongoing WASI examinations. The 2, described as kingpins of examination fraud, were arrested by the West African Examinations Council WAEC security operatives in the Central and Ashanti regions. 2 papers, physics and mathematics, were leaked in the ongoing exams, leading to the cancellation of these papers. Joining us via Zoom is the head of White Legal Department, Reverend Victor Brew, to give us some updates on the issue. Good afternoon, Reverend.
Good afternoon.
Reverend, how did
US and listeners.
Yes, go on. Yeah, Reverend, how
good
did...
afternoon to you and to your viewers and listeners.
All right, thank you very much for joining us. How did WAEC get hint of the operations of the 2 men who were arrested?
Well, yes, WAEC has always been very much on the ground in terms of security, activities, because we've come to realize that with the advent of ICT, in the whole business of examination practice, we needed to have our security operatives on the ground, and we call them underground security operatives. So through their efforts, we got information on the activities of exam process.
All right, so can you tell us the modus operandi of these suspects?
Okay, so they usually would set up various websites, inviting or soliciting for persons who are interested in WAEC examination papers way ahead of time. So let's say some weeks to the exam, we'll set up rogue websites and advertise their quote-unquote products, and then go on ahead to set up WhatsApp groups, where they would transfer all those who are interested to us in anticipation of receiving reported WAEC questions when the time is due. And so from rogue websites, they go onto what we call rogue WhatsApp platforms, and then they would receive materials which they would then make available to members of the group. So this is how they operate in exchange for money. So you pay and you join the rogue WhatsApp platform, and they supply it and you pay via mobile. So that is the way they operate.
All right, so these two suspects have been handed over to the police. What is the next line of action?
Right, so the next line of action is follow through with the police investigations, which is actually in the domain of the police, and for WAEC to supply the relevant information that will make the work and to follow through monitoring the investigation and prosecution to ensure that these suspects face the full recourse of the law.
Apart from these 2 suspects, are there others on the run?
Yes, there are others on the run, and there are others who go by various pseudonames, such as Oti, Masha, Iben. These are all aliases or pseudonames that they use for this WhatsApp forms. Sometimes they call them Lema. In fact, the one that has been arrested is a kingpin of the Jerusalem, rogue WhatsApp form. So there are still others out there who are under. But in fact, this whole thing is a big cartel that turned out to be bigger than perhaps the nation is aware of. So those who work with these groups will tell you that there are a number of platforms, and these ones that we have arrested will be just a number out of the lot out there. And a number of platforms are set up, and others are set up after, should I say, the main platforms are set up to retail, what they get from the main platform. So it's become a whole big cartel, and I would hasten to add that as a nation, we really would need to take a hard look at this and resolve as one people to put all our energies behind WAEC to stamp this cartel out and break their whole examination matters in this.
Reverend Brew, it's an open secret that the issue of examination fraud has been with us for decades. Can we hope that the arrest and subsequent prosecution will help to restore the integrity of subsequent examinations?
Yes, with the efforts that we are putting in place, with the help of the security agencies, the Ghana National Police, National Investigative Intelligence Group, and also the National Security. A number of meetings and engagements are ongoing to ensure that we stamp this thing out once and all. And I must say, therefore, that because it's a cartel, it takes collective effort. It's our collective responsibility. It does not lie with WAEC alone. WAEC is doing its bit, and we will continue to do our bit in various innovative ways to ensure that this canker is dealt with once and for all. But we must, admit that we will have to do this. All of us out there, you with them, but especially security, agencies, both underground and up the ground, if I should put it that way. I think I will also spend a word for parents and for teachers, and even for those of us who are in authority, educational, policy makers and all. We all will have to put our shoulders to the wheel. It is a big issue out there, and I think that to think that just one effort will stamp it up, to be simplistic, but then to be hopeful that with our collective efforts we can deal with this issue, I think is realistic, a realistic thing to say, and it's a thing to say to should I say, harness our collective energies to make sure that this issue is dealt with. So I'll say that we will have to tackle the various angles with WAEC at the forefront of this.
Much Reverend Victor Brew. Reverend Victor Brew is the head of legal department at the West Africa Examination Council. And that the government plans to digitize the economy. More than 10,000 Ghanaians will receive training in information and communication technology (ICT) in the next 3 years. At the start of a one-week training for staff and management of the Ministry of Information, the sector minister, Mr. Kojo Nkrumah, said the program will build capacity of the ministry's human capital in this drive.
The training program will take place in separate tracks for staff and management of the Information Ministry. It will highlight the latest digital transformation trends that are transforming economies to build the capacity of the key civil servants in Ghana. The Public Relations Manager at Huawei Ghana, Mr. David Apia, said ICT skill development is crucial for industrial and economic growth, and for which reason Huawei is partnering with the ministry to train public sector staff. Information Minister Mr. Kojo Nkrumah says the plan is to enhance the capacity of the ministry's workforce in support of Ghana's digitalization drive.
The workshop will help us to leverage on their global expertise to enhance the capacity of the ministry's workforce in building a sustainable digitalization drive. In this day and age, enhancing one's digital skills has become a crucial part of the world. And as a ministry, we are committed to building the capacity of our human resource to boost ICT literacy.
Huawei Ghana says its flagship Huawei ICT training HIT program will train more than 10,000 Ghanaians in ICT in the next 3 years. The workshop is dubbed Digital Economy, the changing public space for effective and sustainable nation building.
Good afternoon. We bring you some business updates now. My name is Morris. So this bulletin is live on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Our very first story, the Ghana city is to recover from recent depreciation as the Ghana Cocoa Board signs the biggest ever syndicated loan of $1.5 billion. This amount, coupled with the $1 billion IMF special drawing right facility, is expected to improve the country's forex position and improve the performance of the cedi. The $1.5 million will ensure prompt payment of cocoa farmers in the 2021-2022 cocoa season. $1.5 billion cocoa syndicated loan secured at 1.75% plus LIBOR is the biggest in the history of Cocoa Board's cocoa pre-financing arrangements. It is $200 million more than the $1.3 billion secured for the 2020-2021 crop season. The amount is payable in 7 calendar months. According to the industry regulator, the facility was oversubscribed by $200 million. Cocoa Board attributes this feat to the board's creditworthiness and early payment arrangements.
I mean, we went in for 1.5, and there were people ready to give us 1.7, not less, more, $200 million more than what we wanted. We had 24 banks from all over the world queuing up, begging to give us money. That should tell you something about the good stuff and all the good things that we are doing. And there's another statistics which is very, very important, which I really want you to focus on. It's to do with the early bird. The early bird are the people who, you know, for whatever reason, will want to do it very quickly. You know, they want to get in there and lend you money. Now, we had early bird commitment as soon as the syndication was launched at $515 million, which is a third of what we are asking for.
Deputy Managing Director in charge of Finance and Administration, Mr. Ray Ankara, said Cocoa Board increased the financing amount to avoid difficulty in payments to farmers, which happened in the last crop season.
We are very confident that with the $1.5 billion, the problems relating to delays in payments may be a thing of the past. We are projecting about 918 to 950,000, which is the crop forecast for next year. Now, that is very realistic.
The signing comes on the back of an impressive showing in Ghana's cocoa sector. Cocoa Board exceeded its production target to reach a record 1.45 million metric tons for the 2020-2021 season, beating the previous record of 1.024 million metric tons in the 2010-2011 crop season. A projected 2.2% rise in the price of cocoa will mean increased revenue in the next season. The first tranche of the $1.5 billion facility is expected to hit the account of Cocoa Board in the first week of October. The amount is expected to serve a dual purpose of purchasing cocoa and improving the local currency. Away from that story, the International Monetary Fund has cited unequal access to vaccines as a major setback for the worldwide economic recovery process amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. The institution says currently close to 40% of the population in advanced economies is fully vaccinated, 11% in emerging markets, and just a fraction in low-income countries.
The partnership between the two entities will, among other things, share experiences in terms of structures, processes, policies and procedures in regulating the petroleum downstream sector. Addressing the Sierra Leone team, Dr. Abdul Hamid stated that cooperation was the only way the two entities can advance the development of their countries. The NPA boss pledged Ghana's willingness to assist Sierra Leone.
Now, let's go back to our earlier story where the International Monetary Fund has cited unequal access to vaccines as a major setback for the worldwide economic recovery process amidst the COVID-19 pandemic.
Since the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic, the IMF has provided over $118 billion in financing to 87 countries, including 54 low-income countries. The IMF's support to sub-Saharan Africa in particular has increased dramatically, reaching 13 times the annual average last year. Recognizing the heavy burden of the pandemic on low-income countries, the IMF has also extended direct debt service relief to 29 of the poorest, most vulnerable member countries. Last month, the IMF made the largest allocation of special drawing rights in its history of about $650 billion to provide additional liquidity to the global economic system. The Deputy Managing Director of the IMF, Madam Antoinette Saye, has said to speed up the recovery process, policymakers should focus on policies that enable greater access to basic public services such as healthcare, education and infrastructure, as well as policies that better protect the vulnerable from income shocks. She urged various countries to facilitate a transition to stronger digital economy, which can help boost productivity and financial inclusion. Strengthening high-quality education, she said, can help spread the benefits of technology more widely to reach the vulnerable segments of the society.
That was Business at 2. The news continues after this break. Stay with us.
Women whose stories teach us perseverance, logic, decisiveness.